Hi there, and thanks for stopping by. If you are new to this channel, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Alright, so let's get started. Today is day 2 of my 30 videos in 30 days challenge, and today I'm going to be talking about my ex-boyfriends. Psych! Your girl never had time for that. Today I'm really going to be talking about my Game Boy collection, but before we get started with actually seeing them and all that stuff, yeah, a little bit of a background story. As a very extremely shy kid, as a very frustrated kid, as a very depressed kid at times, I really found the Game Boy to be very therapeutic for me. To me, my Game Boys were a way for me to recharge. While everybody else was doing normal things like, you know, surfing the web and being part of the social media revolution, I was too busy going back in time with video games and just exploring all the things that existed before my generation. So yeah, while everybody else was too busy doing normal things, I was busy playing with the boys, my Game Boys. Alright, so let's get started. This was like the first one of its kind. Here's the little screen, the 4 directional button or 4 operational buttons, the 4 directional key, A button, B button, select button, start button, the speakers right here, a volume right here. If there was a way to play multiplayer, and it was through here. So you basically had this wire. You connected the wire here, connected the other end to another Game Boy, and you had yourself some multiplayer action. Here was the on and off button right here. And there's also an option for contrast. This wasn't an actually color, it wasn't a color console. Like there was actually no color in the games or within the games. There was only 4 shades of gray, and you can manipulate how dark the shades got or how contrasted they got. And yeah, it did have a headphone jack, and yeah, this was like freaking awesome. The one I found the most boring was F1 Race. Like, yeah, I didn't even make it to the second level. It was like just a racing game, and I didn't find it entertaining. So yeah. So the ones I found the most difficult, guys, I have to say that it was the Castlevania Adventure and Dr. Franken. Like the Castlevania, this game was like super hard. I think I only made it to like level 2. Now Dr. Franken, this was a very hard game, but it was also very amusing and just freaking awesome. Like it's one of those games that don't need great graphics, because the whole plot line, the whole like mission, the whole like levels, it's just all freaking awesome. My favorite games, of course, have to be Kid Icarus, Bonk's Revenge, and Mario's Mission. Like all of these were like crazy good. Like I have to say Mario's Mission was my favorite one. I literally played this one, I don't know, maybe like 100 times. The Game Boy Color was released in 1998. It was the first Game Boy to feature a color screen, but unfortunately it didn't have a backlight. It's way smaller. It has the 4-directional key. It has the A and B, select the start button. Here's the side-to-side comparison. The volume is still in the right side. Okay. The left side we have volume, and instead of having that multiplayer slot or whatever, it's on the left side for the Game Boy Color. But yeah, as you can see, it's like way thinner, way smaller than the original Game Boy. The games were also available in cartridges, but the games are clear in color and shaped a little bit different from the original ones. If you have a side-to-side comparison, we know that the original Game Boy games were gray and just more squarish, and the Game Boy Color games are just, as I mentioned, clear and a little bit more rounded. Just a slight difference in the shape. So what was cool about the Game Boy Color is that it had backward compatibility, which meant that you could play Game Boy games on it. So that's what happened to me. I played literally all the Game Boy games on the Game Boy Color. Alright, so the last and final Game Boy console I got was the Game Boy Micro, and this is what it looks like. Definitely very small, very compact. It was way smaller than the Game Boy Advance and the Game Boy Advance SP. I believe it came out around the same time as the Nintendo DS came out. This one didn't need batteries actually. Yeah, it came with a wall charger, and yeah, my rabbit shooted right here. I tried to like fix it with tape, but yeah, it didn't charge it after that, and I never bought one. I don't know why, so I can't show you the gameplay. I used to have a lot of games, and I made the mistake of letting a friend borrow like 5 of them, and one of the games, I let her borrow like my favorite game, and you never do that, guys, you never do that. And it was WarioWare Twisted, and it was like a motion game. Awesome, like you had to go like this, and like I don't know, it was a very interactive game, and I was like glued onto this for like hours with it. So yeah, another thing that was interesting about this was that it had like face plates. I don't know how to take it off, but you could basically customize it, and you could buy face plates and switch it around. So that was one of the, you know, good things about this in its time. Like I said, I did have more games, but I'm only left with 6 now. I also got this like Cartoon Network collection, and it wasn't a game. It was basically it's just cartoons in the Game Boy.
Now you can go anywhere you want. Your cartoons will follow. With Game Boy Advance Video, you can watch episodes of Pokemon, Jimmy Neutron, Fairly Odd Parents, SpongeBob SquarePants, and more on your Game Boy Advance.
So this was basically like buying a DVD, but like a Game Boy DVD. Yeah, this was like your TV, and I don't know, I thought that was pretty creative of them. I really love sharing my Game Boys with you all. Like the Game Boys were literally a big part of my life, as I mentioned. Very nostalgic. They bring me back to the good times of my childhood, and yeah, they remind me of how good it was to be a kid. So yeah, please click the subscribe button if you would like more videos like these. Alright, so I guess I'll see you tomorrow, guys. Bye.